Hi, and welcome to today's live conversation with one of our amazing speakers from the Women Thrive Summit. Today, we'll be talking about how to be fearless in taking risks and building more financial freedom. This is especially topical and timely conversation to be having. And today's our special guest is Jessica Weaver. Hi, Jessica. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you? Thank you for having me here.
I'm excited to be having this conversation because I meet a lot of women who talk about, how can we build more financial freedom and stability? And sometimes we're not as fearless in pursuit of our financial goals. So before we begin on this conversation, I wanted to hear from you just a little bit about your story, your journey, and how you got to do what you do today.
Sure. So I have been a wealth advisor since 2010, and I feel my whole business has been about managing, mitigating risks, protecting against risks. But life to me is nothing without risks, right? And the pursuit of what's next, constantly looking on the horizon, what is next? When I started out in the industry, I joined my father's firm. It was all men, financial advisors. Women make up only 18% of financial advisors, and that number hasn't changed in 20 years, which is very frustrating, very, very sad. And when I started out in the industry, I would reach out to a lot of the successful female advisors, and the response I got was heartbreaking. I don't have time to talk with you. And I don't know if they saw me as a potential threat, or maybe this was their space. This was their arena. Don't come into my arena. And I just saw this is part of the problem, right? Let's not alienate each other and isolate ourselves. Let's come together. And I was having a lot of issues with the broker dealer I was at. They really wanted me to operate within the confines of what I call the box. This is how you should market. This is how you should sell. This is how you should talk to people. And a lot was like, don't be too vulnerable. Don't be too specific, which I think it goes against everything we now know works with building strong, trusting relationships. And I was really sick of it. Kind of felt like men telling me what to do in business. And in the early years, I did what most women probably do. I tried it. It wasn't working. So I figured, well, I must be the failure, right? If it's working for all the men, why isn't it working for me? I must be the reason. I'm the common denominator here. But then I started to really trust and listen to my intuition. And I started to take these baby step risks, we'll call them. I'm like, what if I just try it my way for a little bit? So a few years ago, we started having events just for women. Started writing my books. We had Strong Woman, Stronger Assets. 2 years later, Time to Revive, and then Confessions of a Money Queen, which came out last year. Actually, sorry, 2021. And I saw women starting to get more engaged with money, which has always been my goal. I want women to feel empowered by their money. I want them to be excited about their money, to really want to become a player in the game of wealth and wanting and have fun with it too. Not be scared, intimidated, or overwhelmed by it, but to feel worthy of having wealth, to feel worthy of all the wealth in the world
Yeah.
for it. So as I started to take these risks, the broker dealer was like, nope, this is not happening. We don't want these risks. So I left in 2022 in March of last year. I left and we started the Women's Wealth Boutique. And I stepped away from my father's firm. I stepped away from security, taking over a multi-million dollar firm one day. I walked away from millions of dollars in assets under management. I walked away from everything that I had known, not just my career, but even growing up, because my father has been an advisor for 40 years. So that was a huge, huge risk and stepping into the unknown. And I will say part of that really excited me. It really energized me. Like, how much can I grow personally through this venture? How much am I going to be stretched and expanded um, during this? And there was a new excitement and energy of stepping into the unknown every single day. when I showed up to work. I didn't know what I was going to learn that day, what I was going to fail at that day, and then learn the lesson. And since then, we've onboarded 5 advisors in 9 months. We've had over 200% growth. We have 10 female advisors on a waiting list to join us this year. We are just growing leaps and bounds. And that's what I want women to know is you can go through the rock bottoms. You can go through the toughest times where you don't. At one point, I just wanted to give up. And I turned to him, I'm like, what if I just sold my piece of the business and moved on? And he said to me, thank goodness for my husband. He goes, you've sold these women on your mission. You can't abandon them now. And he was right. So I get it when you feel like you're at rock bottom and you don't even want to pick your head up. You want to hide under the blankets. We all have mornings like that, days like that. But when you can quiet your world down a little bit and listen inward, listen to God, your higher source, the divine, whoever that being is, and then start taking risks on yourself, it's amazing what can happen. So sorry, that was a long little explanation going into it, but that what's happened over the last year has just blown my mind. Like none of this was happening 2 years ago, which just seems insane to me.
And it just goes to show that in life, if you really want to have a big success and big breakthroughs, sometimes you gotta face those fears and take the risks that otherwise you will never get to the other side to find out, and maybe always question, what if, right? That is the one thing that you don't want to have, the what if.
The biggest regrets in life, right? I think it's not taking that action tends to be our biggest regrets. It's a very good point.
How do you see what are the steps that you have had to take in terms of embracing risk and becoming fearless in pursuit of your dreams?
Ooh, I think everyone's dealing with this one piece of stress a lot lately, especially after last year. And if you are invested in the markets, you have your money in stocks, bonds, whatever it is, you felt the pressure and the stress over last year. Managing your stress and having a toolkit is going to be your biggest help. Because what stress does is it puts us in that fight or flight mode, right? Survival mode. It takes blood away from our brain. It stops sending nutrients to our brain, and it forces us to fall back on old patterns and behaviors. Even if we know deep down those patterns and behaviors aren't serving us, they aren't getting us to where we want to go, but we're going to fall back to what's familiar and what we perceive as safe. Okay. When you can manage your stress, and this is what I do every morning, I come into my office, and before I let the emails dictate my day, I sit down on my couch and I have an hour. I call it my daily money practice. I sit down, I meditate, I journal, I do some healing work, I do some exploring work, and I listen. I calm down my outside and I just listen. Having a toolkit to manage stress so that when you are expanding, you're not in that fight or flight mode. And that just puts kind of blinders on us. Right? When you're in survival mode, you're making fear-based decisions. And do we ever get what we want when we make fear-based decisions and actions? We don't. No. So managing stress.
Managing stress, especially right now, as just while this, I don't know, I guess the media is feeding this chaotic message to us that the sky is falling, right? The sky is falling. And we're constantly in this fight or flight mode on the survival mode, as you say. And it's so hard to make rational decisions that are not perhaps based on fear. And sometimes, I guess if you quiet down, whether the fear is real or is the one that you have had to buy into from others.
Oh, that's a good point.
So financial freedom, I know as entrepreneurs, business owners, those are in pursuit of our dreams. We're all dreaming of this destination of financial freedom.
What is it?
I know. Where is this promised land?
Is it a product I can buy? Can I just give my money and have the financial freedom?
Right. So, as someone obviously who's written several books on the secrets of money and financial freedom, what would be your top three tips for someone really wanting to get to that place? And is it an actual place? Is it a destination that someone should be striving for?
This is such a good question. Thank you for asking it. I feel like it's a loaded question too. But I think we first need to start with, and you just brought it up with the news and media. We are constantly being told what to think, how to act, how to operate. And if we can peel back all those expectations, the programming, you probably hear limiting beliefs a lot, and just dissect what does financial freedom mean to you individually? Because for it's gonna be different for you than for me. Some people, it's being able to continue to work, but not worry about the money. Some people, it's I don't want to work at all or ever have to work again. So, what is financial freedom? Can we put a definition behind it? What is success? Is success having millions of dollars, or is success being able to do whatever you want each and every single day of your life? What is that definition? What does it look like for you? And then we can start to build towards your version instead of the masses version of financial freedom. I think is a huge component to it. How can we define? Can we put some numbers down? What does it look like? And that might be a moving target. I think for a lot of people, it's going to evolve and change, especially if you fall into work that you love. You really do love it. Maybe you just want to do less of it or on a larger scale, but not having to worry about where the money's coming from as you expand and grow your business. So that would be my first tip for building out financial freedom for you with it. And then having a plan, right? Taking strategic, intentional, we often call them inspired actions. So instead of chasing somebody else's version of freedom and you're on somebody else's plan,
Mhm.
let's figure out what are those steps for you. I will say the more sources of income you have coming in, they've done studies for retirees, the more secure and happy you tend to be because you're not so reliant on one source of income and trying to control that source of income. You're just allowing money to constantly come into your life. And I would say the third tip is how can you feel financially free today, even if your money doesn't show it yet? So how can you be grateful for your money today? Because if you're constantly looking at towards the future and that financial freedom, you're focusing on the lack. How much more do I have to work and save and earn or invest to be able to have this freedom? And then we're so focused on the destination instead of what's happening today. So
Mhm.
even if it's just being grateful for the paycheck that came in or an extra, some random check, grandma sent you a check, just being grateful for those little pieces of money and financial freedom coming in is going to really change your whole mindset around money.
Beautiful. I love that. That's like, we're always trying to jump ahead. We're always trying to get to that destination, as I said earlier. But as you say, just be grateful for where you are today and work with what you have and feel still in abundance. You know, and there's this thing about, you know, someone who has a roof over their heads and someone has from outside, seemingly a good life, they may still feel poor. But from someone looking on the outside, like a homeless person, like looking at you and thinking, wow, you're so wealthy. Right. So
Oh,
it's
yeah.
really all relative, and just appreciating what you have is so beautiful.
Very true. It is. It's based on everybody's perspective on what does that wealth look like, that financial freedom look like. But the more we can just be in that place of gratitude and abundance, we know the money's going to come in then. There's going to be much more flowing, free flowing of money in and out of your world. You're not trying to hold on to it, hoard it, um, which you would if you were in scarcity mode. We want you to be able to enjoy money. That's our biggest. We want you to have fun with money, enjoy it. Yes, we take it serious, but you can still have good positive emotions around money. Kind of heal that relationship with money, and see when did you start being fearful of money or scared, overwhelmed? Was it from childhood? Was it from your parents fighting over money? And now you always think money brings up anger or bitterness, resentment. So you avoid money because you don't want to fight with your spouse over it. What are those old money wounds that we do need to take some time to heal, because I mean they go deep. We all know they go deep. Even my own, it's a constant. That's why I call it a daily money practice. Every day I'm working on it to expand it and correct it, to pivot when things aren't happening the way we want them to.
Yeah, brilliant. So, for those of you watching this on replay or watching us live, if you have any questions for Jessica, please leave it in the comments below. And if we may not be able to see it now, we'll always come back to answer them later on. In a moment, we'll share more information on how to connect with Jessica, as well as a little bit more about her title of the upcoming talk at the Women Thrive Summit. But before we go
Mhm.
there, I know that women particularly sometimes shy away from talking about money, managing our
Mm,
money, and it can really become a hindrance to our financial freedom. Now, as
mhm.
a financial advisor, what would you say? What is the role of the financial advisor, and should women be more open to seeking out for help or managing their money a little bit better? What is your advice from as a financial advisor point of view?
Well, I take my own advice. I've always worked with a business coach, and I've noticed a difference with my income. The years I don't work with a business coach, it'll go up, 10, 20%. When I do work with a business coach, it's more like 100, 200% that my income jumps. So I do act how I preach. I think everybody needs assistance, whether it's a mentor, a coach, an advisor. We're really your advocate. I mean, we're the ones who have your back. We're peeling back the layers. What are your goals? What is your definition of freedom? How do we align you? My approach, I start with the alignment, right? How do we align you with your purpose? Because I know there's proof when you're in purpose, you're going to earn more money. It's going to flow freely into your world.
Yeah,
How do we get you more engaged with money, have more fun, be more creative with money? And then there's a practical side. Now that the money is flowing into your world, what are we doing with that money? It's more the operational side. Where are we saving it, investing it, growing it? How are we protecting it? All across the board as we're building out, right, your big girl portfolio, right? That wealthy woman portfolio. And if we do it right, you will feel secure and free the entire time. Even if you don't have the millions yet, you will still feel like you're on your way. I know there is a big myth that I need to have wealth in order to have an advisor.
yeah,
No, that's how you get wealth by working with us so that you have everything's working together. I just met with a lady and she's met with a bunch of different male advisors. She's like, none of them I could resonate with. They were all mansplaining things to me, talking down. But what ended up happening is she has accounts all over the place, all different kinds of investments. Nothing's working together. There's no strategy behind it, there's no efficiency. But now we have this amazing opportunity to really optimize the money that's coming into our world and that she's already has saved up. So even if you're starting from ground zero, it doesn't matter. Reach out, find somebody that you can. I think the biggest piece is have the safe, vulnerable conversations with. Find somebody that you can get intimate because money's pretty intimate. It's almost as intimate as our sex lives. Somebody that you don't feel judged by, feel shamed by, somebody that will have that safe space for you. That's my biggest piece when you're looking to work with somebody.
yeah. I love that. I think the trust is imperative with people we work with, especially as you say, as intimate as money and finances and having to open up
Mhm.
on just a different level. So, Jessica, I am very excited because you are one of our VIP speakers for the Women Thrive Summit, which is our international global women empowerment event that we host every March. And you have a wonderful talk coming up on how to build your money empire. I'm very, very excited. So, tell us a little bit more about your talk and why people should attend it.
Ooh, this is perfect. That goes right along with what we're talking about today with that financial freedom. When I view a money empire, it is a money printing machine. We have different sources of income coming in. The money feels abundant, it feels free flowing. You're able to give back more. So, how do we start that? And then once it is up and operating, we have the money coming in. Like I said, what do we do with that money? And the more that you have a plan in place, I use money systems that we just layer and stack and build out. The more you are going to trust the money that's coming into your world. And trust is such a huge component around not only having money come into your world, but keeping it. We see these patterns happen a lot that somebody's in debt, they get out of debt, they're back in debt. Or they have no money, they get inheritance, and then they have no money again. It's because they don't have the trust yet, the trust in themselves, trust that money will always be there for them, that trust that money is going to keep coming to them. So, really, from the building of the empire to building out the income streams, and then what do we do with that money and how do we really amplify it and build, double down on that trust as well. So, I'm so excited for the Women Thrive Summit and for talking with all the women all across the world because these systems work. It doesn't matter what kind of structure your money system is in, they're going to work for you.
Yeah, and I love that because I think, and when we first spoke, when I first met you, and you talked to me about your journey and just how you empowered yourself and your financial freedom, and how fearless you have been in pursuit of your own destiny. That your story has really inspired me personally. And I always advocate this. I advocate this for women to have financial freedom, to build towards that, regardless
Mhm.
whether you're just starting out in business or whether you've been in business for a long time. Life can be very uncertain. And unless you have put together your financial plans and your financial stability, not just for yourself, but your business and your family, you can't really sleep at night. So I advocate this so strongly for women. And I hope that many, many people will attend your talk on how to build your money empire and actually get a lot of value. So Jessica, for those who starting out the year and saying, okay, I can't wait for March. I need to get in touch with Jessica today.
Ooh, how fabulous. I love it.
How do ladies get in touch with you?
Of course. So you can go to jessicaweaver.com. It's where three of my best-selling books are, our blog, Not Your Father's Advisor. We have money meditations. You can actually get the free audiobook for Confessions of a Money Queen there. We can follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Pink Fix My Money. My whole world is pink. I don't pink on. I have pink earrings and pink lips, pink wallpaper. So Pink Fix My Money. Thank you so much for having me. This is a lot of fun.
Amazing. So ladies, to make sure you get in touch, jessicaweaver.com. I hope I spelled it right.
Yes, you nailed it.
Perfect. Don't want any misspellings. And of course, you have three wonderful books and lots of amazing goodies and support for those thinking about starting their money journey right now without delay. But ladies, for those of you who wanting a little bit more support, guidance, you want to learn and grow your business and be supported by an international community of ours, please feel free to join the Women Thrive Summit that happens every March. And this upcoming March, we have 47 amazing speakers that we're spotlighting from all around the world. And this is your opportunity to really connect with other amazing entrepreneurs, business owners, thought leaders, speakers, authors, and learn how to grow your business. Anything from visibility, marketing, leadership, authority building to financial freedom, healing, and so many other amazing topics. I know you're going to have amazing fun for the whole week of March between 20th to 24th. So save your spot, share this live with someone who you feel that could benefit from today's conversation. And Jessica, I'm super excited to have you on this journey and also see you very soon for the summit.
Yes, see you soon. Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.
Thank you so much, everyone, and we look forward to seeing you on another conversation with our speakers. Take care for now.